This is Ragged Oak Farm on Lookout Mountain in northwest Georgia. We started here with a simple idea: to care for the land and invite others into that care. Hi, I'm Erin, and this is my husband Noel.
And we're the owners of Ragged Oak Farm. We started as an organic heirloom pumpkin farm in 2023 on a piece of ground that was once a coal mine.
But after having twins and relocating to a slightly larger home nearby, our vision has expanded.
And we are now opening a small rustic campground that will also provide an opportunity for horse boarding, as well as future opportunities for education and farm-based experiences.
What makes Ragged Oak Farm unique is how everything comes together in one place. Trail users can move beyond a few hours on the trail and stay overnight, camping or boarding horses on a working farm, surrounded by the daily rhythms of the land. That extra time in nature creates space to slow down, connect more deeply with the landscape and with the people they're sharing it with. And for our local community, we're creating a welcoming place to gather, one rooted in stewardship, sustainability, and a deep respect for place.
This grant will allow us to build the campground infrastructure the right way. We'll build a loafing shed that will include a bathhouse that'll be solar powered and include low impact design elements of rainwater and gray water collection systems. We'll also be building our gravel parking area to reduce erosion to the property, as well as installing native landscaping that'll be both a privacy screen and a natural sound buffer. In addition to the improvements at the campground, we'll also need to work on our barn to get this ready for our business. We'll need to re-side it. As you can tell, we have no siding on it currently. We have all the material in hand, but being able to hire our neighbors to help us with this project will be an added community benefit. We'll be able to make this ready for horse boarding, and then in the hayloft, we'll be improving that to be a community gathering space. And the wonderful thing about all of the infrastructure improvements that we are making, we can scale that to the amount of funding that we have.
Without grant funding, we could technically open the campground with very minimal infrastructure. However, it would severely limit our guest experience and the long-term success of our business. And it would make it a lot harder to manage the impacts of the campground on our immediate neighbors and the land. With the Ideally grant funding, we can do this right from the beginning. We can invest in infrastructure that improves the experience of our campers and supports the horse boarding side of our operation. This funding would also help us to be much more intentional about how our campground fits into the surrounding landscape. Using intentional landscaping would provide privacy not just for our campers, but also for our neighbors, as well as sound buffering. And using more intentionally designed infrastructure would allow the campground to blend in rather than stand out. All of that leads to happier guests who want to come back and who tell their friends to come camp here, which is great for our business. And sustainable systems help us to keep our long-term costs down. So the grant would help us to build a business that is practical, sustainable, and truly rooted in this place.
None of our business would be possible if it were not for the work of the Little Lake Land Trust over the last 30 years. So we'll be donating a percentage of our sales to Little Lake. The economic impact of having our visitors stay overnight is important. That will create more opportunity for them to support local businesses like the corner store just a quarter mile up the road, or the Canyon Grill and Lookout Mountain Pizza Company just a 5-minute drive away. We will also be using this space as a community gathering location. There are very few spaces where everyone in our immediate community feels welcome. So we'll host community events that will be an added benefit to our neighbors in addition.
Ragged Oak Farm is more than just a business for us. It's where our family lives and where we're putting down roots. With support from this grant, we can keep building it in a way that takes care of the land and benefits both our community and the local economy. Thanks for spending a little time getting to know Ragged Oak Farm and considering our grant application.